I remember at the time of the financial crash, you know, kind of looking out the window, as it were, what was going on in the world, and just thinking, you know, like this tangible feeling of, you know, how kind of sick society was in the way that things like that could happen, and wishing, you know, that it was possible, you know, to cure it. Coming from that came the first X-ray piece entitled Greed. It was a silkscreen print of a skull, which had a kind of worrying shadow on it, and when you moved in on it and looked closer to do a diagnosis, as it were, it was actually a dollar sign. I first got into the kind of art that I make now in 1984. I was one of the earliest European kids who co-opted a series of subcultures that exploded out of New York. The seeds of what I do now was sown in that period, you know. When I was a kid, when I was still at secondary school, I loved art and I'd grown up on art and I had an aptitude for it, but like I also had straight A's in science and mathematics. I ended up doing my formal education in science rather than art, and graduated with a degree in applied chemistry, and then just went on to become a starving artist. My science background has influenced like my art through and through. I mean, even actually before I started doing the X-ray work, the influence of it was in there. Even if you're, you know, like a classical oil painter or whatever, like, you know, the rheology of the paint and the way the paint behaves and the chemical makeup of the paint is something that you have to know about. My sort of core understanding of the scientific method helped me to develop the way that I used to paint, like way beyond, you know, what I was doing previously. The basic concept came from me thinking how a doctor or radiologist puts an X-ray on the light box, puts it on the wall, you know, to assess the health of the patient, is very similar to the way that we look at paintings on the wall in a gallery, you know. Even if you're not like a professional art critic, you know, everybody kind of goes up and does a kind of almost like a diagnosis of the painting and decides whether they think it's good and whether they like it or whatever. So the X-rays are kind of like almost like a parody of that. The X-rays, for example, of pop culture icons, a lot of those images are things that I liked as a child. So they're kind of X-rays of my own past in a way. Some of the things that I paint are like more directly a critique from my point of view, but like I don't like to explain too much what I'm trying to do with them, because I would like people to kind of make their own diagnosis, come to their own conclusions. So I try to leave it open-ended as much as possible.